Good morning, Bassin buds. It is almost sunrise. I got about a 20-minute run ahead of me. I'm going to fish a little bit different water today than what y'all been seeing. I'm actually going to go on the upper end of the river. And we got the river rat ready to go. Only got one pole. One pole. What am I thinking about doing? I got one lure and one rod I'm going to fish with this morning. So, we'll be back after these messages. You ready to run and gun? It's time for blast off. Let's go. Well, 20 minutes exactly, and I'm here. So I think one rod and one lure. Well, what I have chosen, and this is actually the first time I think I've had this rod out. It's a Daiwa Strike from about 1985, which I got brand new with the tags on it. I actually got two of these. I gave Chris at Retro Bassin one of them. As a slider rod kind of thing. It's got good backbone, but nice flexible tip. And the lure that I've chosen is a 4-inch Senko on one of those little Mosquito owner titanium weedless hooks. And right above it is a little bitty swivel. See how small that dude is? That's about 10 or 15 pound swivel. I'm only testing this to see if it will do, if it will keep my line from getting twisted up. And of course, the reel I have, this says 1300. One of the best spinning reels ever made. The only thing I do to it is I put those reel grips you get from Tackle Warehouse. I put those on there just to give me a little extra grip. But I fished them for years without them, so it really doesn't matter one way or the other. I got 6 pound XT on here. And what I have, or what I've put together, I'm not finished with it yet, is an old style spin pack that I have all of my 4-inch Senko tackle in. I'll go through this one day, but I can hold up to 3 different colors. And I think what I'm going to end up doing is black and blue flake, green pumpkin, and cinnamon, which is like an earthworm kind of color. Here locally, the only color I found is that green pumpkin red flake, kind of a laminate. But what I have in case I can't keep this down, I have a weedless 16th ounce Eagle Claw. That would help me kind of get that thing down if needed to. I pulled up on this spot right here. I want to show y'all something. This is what I call squatters. Look at this. Trash, rod and reels laying everywhere, especially over here. Rod and reels. They got some kind of a tackle bag here. Rod standing up. Nobody's here. There ain't nobody here. There's just trash everywhere. That's what I call squatters. Now, if you fish from the bank, please don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about you. What I am talking about is, the property I just showed you belongs to the water authority here. That's private property, up until the water's edge. That's private property. This whole entire side of the bank is water authority. This whole side over here, on this side over here, belongs to the railroad. And, a squatter to me is somebody who just comes and fishes, leaves her trash everywhere, builds a tent, leaves the scrap from the tent laying around everywhere. That's just sorry. And that's what I call squatters. I'm still polite to them unless they get hateful with me. But if you're a bank fisherman, don't be a squatter. You know, pick up your trash, be respectful, don't trespass. You know, that's just, it's just common courtesy, really. It gives all the rest of us a bad name. Just thought I'd throw that tip out there to you. Well, that got me one. Actually got me a largemouth in the current. That's unusual. I mean, it was right on the very edge of it. Not very big. But hey, it's a start. About the third cast in. Hey, get little buddy. Pressure's off me. And my buddy used to always say to each other, oh, pressure's off me. But I was just thinking I might have to go to the 16th ounce. But a little weedless deal on that. You see that? A little weedless. That's titanium. I actually thought that might be, I actually clipped mine about a 1/4 inch short. I don't like a real long weedless deal on the hook because I think it hampers the hook ability. But hey, a little bitty largemouth in the current. That's actually my very first largemouth I've ever caught up here. But I have caught some really good smallmouth up here. Let's keep on plugging away, find out what's going on here. Just kind of letting the current just kind of take it down. And this water's kind of twitching it. At least I ain't got to worry about getting in the rocks like this, do I? I have lost so many lures up here getting wedged in rocks. And sometimes the current's so strong you can't get to it to get it back out. Look here. Look here. I was just getting ready to reel it in. Oh my goodness. Little small mule. Look at this. Well, if he quits flippy flopping, he's not big, but he's fun. Got a tail, isn't he? He's still pretty. Man. Okay, so here's the upper end of the river. Right here is an island. You got jetty coming over here, jetty coming over here. I can sit all out in here in the current. But all this goes through here. There's an outlet right there, a little creek, and then it turns right here. Turns right there and goes on down the river, right through there. You know, I just happened to think, you know, if those people left those rod and reels and stuff, the bag and all that there, thinking somebody's not going to bother it, we'll come back, get them, whatever. You know, it's very possible Popo might have come and got him. Like I said, this is private property. And if a game warden sees him, Palomar knots. If a game warden sees him, I'm sure he can get him removed. What I'm doing now is I'm changing over to that 16th ounce. I got a whole little kit in here with spare line and it's about anything I need to do these. I got some 16th ounce jig heads, some 1/8 ounce jig heads. You know, if I wanted to fish a jig head worm. And I got weightless hooks so that I can fish it like a regular Senko. Always wet your knot, folks. Alright, so that's what I've got. It's that little 16th ounce little deal right there. My wife does a lot of crochet and needlepoint stuff like that, so I got all kinds of little scissors. Fit perfectly in the tackle box. Let me show you what I got here. This is just a basic, plain old snack pack. I got the weedless hooks, the weighted hooks, swivels, O-rings, jig heads, weightless hooks. I have enough room for 2 colors of Senkos, 1 color of Senko. I keep 6-pound test line. Basically what that is you can go to Walmart and look in the line section. You'll see those little spools and the really cheap South Bend stuff or whatever it is, fishing line. I'll buy that, go back to the house, strip all that line off that spool, and actually put my fishing line on it. And then what I do is I use that for, like here, I can carry 6-pound test and rig up my little swivel deal and not waste line on my rod. That line disappears quick when you're tying Palomar knots all the time. And plus I also keep in my bag too for Carolina rigging. Keep a leader line on your Carolina rig. Those little spools like that, they don't take up hardly any room. That's a lot better. Still has a slow fall. I think I'll be able to keep in better contact with it. I'm still in my same spot. I hadn't moved. Alright, I lost my 16-pound jig head. I got that sucker wedged in the rock. There's too much current. I couldn't get to it. I just broke that sucker off. Normally I don't do it. I like to at least try to go get it. But I couldn't get, way too shallow. I couldn't get the kayak up in there. Current too hard in order to sit still to get to it. But I floated around the dog leg and gotten a few little hits. I've given this about 10 minutes to settle out, so I'm going to hit the middle part of this rapid area again on faster moving water. A little while ago I was actually able to sit just to the right hand side of that island, that grass-filled island, and just sit there. There's enough eddy to hold me still. So I'm going to hit the lower end of this grass island one more time and fish along that turn one more time, and I'm going to head down and hit my high spots that I've done pretty good on the last few years. So I guess we'll just keep chunking and winding. We'll see what happens. Alright, I'm about 100 yards down from that turn up there at the river, or the headwater there to the river. I got this one stump, sticks out of the water a couple of feet. There's just something about it, and I've almost caught fish on it every time I come by it. I don't care if it's a jig, spinnerbait, crankbait. It's about that big around. But it's almost a guarantee. I'm not saying that you'll catch him every time on it, but because you know how that goes. I'll show you the only piece through this whole run right here that I will stop and fish every time. I remember one time a couple years back I caught 2 back to back on that thing. Look here. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Y'all saw my rod bend. That's a good fish. What's causing that to happen? Is it the weed guard? Or is it just not getting it? Man. Make a quiet little cast right there. Seriously? He just kind of loaded up on it. He was just there. It was very possible. And this happens a lot, especially when it comes to jigs. They will hold on to it so tight that they won't let it go, and you can never get a hook in them, no matter what you do. From the water plant that comes right here. See that? It's putting out current. See that? In this whole area, all through here, all through here. Man, I have done pretty good. It's a hit and miss deal, but if I can get him to hit, I can get him to hit. All right, so I've had 2 more bass hit and lost them. And you know, when things like that start happening, I really get to wondering, you know, what's going on here. Well, I had finally figured it out. Even though I have a swivel on that thing, I still had a lot of line twist. And that's something I just, you know, I don't like line twist. I'm not saying I'm going to do away with that wacky rig, but, and I'm sure the swivel did help. I was almost floating over on top of it. So what I did is I let out probably 100 feet of line behind me, and paddled down to this spot to get my line twist out. Sometimes you have to do that. I mean, if you want to fish a wacky rig all day, see how limp that line is now? If you're going to fish a wacky rig all day, about once an hour, once every 2 hours, cut that lure off, drag that line behind you, or if you're in current, just let it drip down current, engage the reel. So just sit there for a minute or two, just let it unwind. Now instead of an EWG, let me show you why I use this screw lock. It just keeps that, it keeps it on there without having to use a toothpick. And sometimes you can tie a loop knot on this and actually fish it like a jerk bait. But I'm going to fish it like I normally would fish a Senko. I just like that real thin wire that holds it on really good, and boop, and there's the hook. And just the shape of it, it just lays across the back of that just perfectly. So let me dip this and show my goopy stuff. I've actually gotten where I like this. This really does stay on a lure. I mean, I'm not trying to plug anybody, but I've been quite impressed with that smelly jelly stuff. It's expensive, but I'll tell you what, it's going to last you a long, long time because you don't use very much of it at all. And don't get it on your fingers. All I do is I just take it and just kind of, you know, dance it around that jar right there. Same thing with the head, just kind of move it around a little bit. It's on there. I mean, as soon as you put that thing in the water, you can see it dispersing off of it. And it stays on pretty good too. I mean, after about like 10 or 20 casts, pick that thing, you can still smell it. All right, let me get in position here. We'll make a few casts. This is one of the few times I'll actually put my anchor out. The only disadvantage to me to having an anchor is bass can get wrapped around that line, and I've had it happen, and I've actually lost fish because of that. but I guess you'd say it'll be a necessary evil. I'm basically throwing right at the mouth of that opening. I've been up in that lure one time. It's loaded with a lot of rock and moss. But what the cool thing is about this spot, when you get a fish, and he just came off. Dang, got it. Y'all saw it. He had it by the head. Dang. I could sing it through the country mile. In case I didn't say anything, that's a 4-inch Senko. I actually let him run with it a little bit too. But what I was going to say was the cool thing is when you got some stain in the water, or that bloom, summertime bloom, which is kind of what we have right now, but you can still see the bottom. I'm sitting at about 3 or 4 feet. The cool thing is, when that clean water comes out, it puts that, you can see the mixture of clear water, and you can basically fish the clear water side and get to that change, that watercolor change, and usually, pow, that's when one hits it. He's sitting right at that transition. And the cool thing is, you can fish that bank going down the river for about 100 yards, 200 yards, and you still got that clear water mixture. So that's always kind of cool. There's no one swimming with it. Oh, they've got the hook in that one. Yeah. It's a smallie. It's a smallie. Woo! Dark black smallie too. And he just came off. Got my Senko all tied up in a knot. Man, they're hitting light. I don't know if that line twist caused me to lose those fish, because it's pretty much out of the line now. I got it all taken out, but just having a hard time keeping them pegged. Got a good one. I hope he stays pinned. Oh, good God. Got my hand on him. There you go. I'm fishing just under, the hook just came right out. Isn't it beautiful in that sunlight? Look at that. Thank you, little buddy. He tossed my Senko. Maybe my line is getting really twisted. But I just tell you right there, largemouth bass that size in a river. Will definitely pull. I'll show you what I got here. Alright, there's the bridge. Over there is where I was fishing that last video. But all around here, all around this bend, you got the current coming right down through here. And it swings right around here. I'm just kind of sitting in a hole. It's about 5 feet deep through here. 5-6 foot deep. But a real good place. I usually manage to catch one through here every time. Alright, so I'm going to put on one last Senko. Not too bad. I've only lost 2 today. That's not bad. But yeah, I'll tie this one on, fish it for a few minutes, and then head on back to Sakasa. Mi casa. Whatever you want to call it. Mi casa, yo casa. Mi casa, su casa. A little bit of stink juice on there. That's the Pro Guide Bass Feast. That's what that one is. Just a standard type scent. But I like it. It really does stay on pretty good. Well, recap of the day. I'm going to go ahead and go on in. I actually have my line dragging behind me. Always keep your rod tip low to the water. But yeah, I've got some really bad twists in my line. So I figure best time to take that out before I put it back on the reel. Going up the river and or going up the creek. Let it straighten itself out. So would I have changed anything today? The only thing I would have changed, a little bit beefier rod. I know I'm using 6-pound test, and I love the feel of the little 5.5 foot straight gold. But that kind of rod I think is better for like crankbaits, spinnerbaits, topwaters, things like that. Soft plastics, no. It's too whippy. And that could very easily be why I lost a few of those fish. I just didn't get a good enough hook set. So I want you to look for something that's a little bit stiffer but not overbearing. There's actually a rod I've been looking at that I might look into just for doing this kind of fishing right here, just forward Senko fishing. But hey, we got 3. I just had a run in with a wannabe Bassmasters Classic contender, I guess. You see a guy coming down the creek, got one of those Bass Tracker, little Coleman crawdad kind of things. Little outboard on the back, little trolling motor coming down through there. You know how you do the fisherman's nod. And you guys will understand. So the guys watching will understand that. You know, you got the, how you doing? And what's up? Up, down. But I complimented him on his boat. I said, man, now that's the way you do it right there. That's a good looking little ride. And both of them just stared at me as they go on by. I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. And I saw the guy, like, one of the guys, like, threw his rod down the boat so I couldn't see what he had or whatever. Okay, dude, whatever, man. Don't you hate people like that? Those are the ones that ruin it for everybody. At least I'm coming in. They're waiting way too late to come out on the river go fishing. It is hard in the daytime. I just wanted to rant, throw that out there. You know, that's what I like about you guys that watch this channel, man. You guys are about as down home as I am. I love the comments and emails and all that kind of stuff I get from you guys. And to those of you who are new, welcome aboard. Glad to have you. I don't do a lot of editing on these videos. I keep it real. So I'm not going to sit here and edit fish after fish after fish after fish after fish. I'm going to at least take you along and kind of give you my thought process on how I go through stuff. I just need that little bit beefier rod for that kind of fishing right there, so I can fish a little bit of everything. I'm going to tell you what, I had some serious line twists. Man, I hope I got it all out. Worst comes to worst, I can take that rod in the backyard. Now there's a tip. I can take that rod in the backyard and sit down on the ground, walk across the yard with that line, just keep stripping the line, strip. Come back, take a washcloth or microfiber cloth, spray some line and reel magic in that cloth, hold it in my hand, just crank it back on the reel. You'd be surprised that pretty much takes your twist out of your line. I mean, that's one surefire way to do it. Because it's hard to get a hook set twisted line. It's hard to feel too. And that's when I just realized it's time to come back in, because I had way too much twist in that line. But that's just me. So until next time, guys, may the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name. And as always, fish on.